Hi everyone, welcome back to Speedcafe's V8 Supercar Endurance Countdown, brought to us by our good friends at Crimsafe. Time for the defending champions of the Bathurst 1000, the Holden Racing team. And as I welcome Jack Perkins and John Bow, it's fascinating, intriguing how HRT will go at Bathurst. They're the defending champions, yes. They had a good last race at Eastern Creek, yes. But the rest of the year has been a disaster.
Well, you can't hide behind the facts, and you're right, the year to date has been pretty disappointing in terms of form and speed and results, but one thing I really like about the Holden Racing Team cars is the continuity. They've got continuity of the drivers and engineers in the red cars. Obviously Garth Tander and Nick Percat are the reigning Bathurst champions, and they're going there to defend their crown. James Courtney and Cameron McConville were a very good combination last year. Probably denied a good result based on the double stacking, so they were running top 4 or 5 all day, but they needed to sit in the pits behind the other car while it got serviced. So I really like the continuity there. I'm sure that they can turn the form around. We've seen Russell Ingall in the third car in the last few races really show that if they can get it working, they can be genuine top 5 contenders. So, yeah, I'm not going to kick them down at the moment. I think they're all right, the Holden Racing team, and they've got a massive Bathurst factor about them that they'll be putting their best foot forward in October.
JB, the year on and off the racetrack has been interesting, difficult for all at the Holden Racing team. How much does that weigh over them heading into the biggest race of the year?
Well, I think they had this massively strong period in their history where they won lots of races, and of course when you do that you start to think you're better than you are, and I think that they went through that. I think they've got a reality check in the last couple of years, and thank God they had Garth Tander because he saved them. They would have looked incredibly ordinary without Garth Tander, to be honest. But I see some, firstly Eastern Creek, they finished very well in all the cars. I see some good things happening for them. They've obviously had personnel changes and they're trying to get their act together. If that manifests itself more, but nobody expected them to win last year and they did. So I would think, Tander and Percat and James Courtney and Cam have got a very good chance. Unfortunately for Russell, I don't think it's a big chance because his co-driver is, whilst he's been to Bathurst and did the 12-hour race, he doesn't have enough experience in these cars to be able to do a good enough job to give Russell a chance to win. And obviously on Russell's form, the last 2 race meetings, he's the #1 man at HRT at the moment, so interesting.
Before we hear from Russell Ingall on Christian Klein, you're racing alongside the ex-Formula 1 driver. What do you make of Christian?
It's an interesting choice by Walkinshaw's to put a rookie in with Russell. I drove with Russell last year in a super cheap car, and I learned a lot from Russ. He's quite well experienced, and he's gone to show in recent races when he's got the tools that he wants underneath him, he can run as good as anyone else. So with Christian Klein, he's got a lot of experience, ex-Formula 1 driver. He did go out of his way to get some miles at the Bathurst track in the 12-hour early in the year, but driving there in a V8 supercar is a different kettle of fish, and he'll either get it or he won't. And it's as simple as that. And, I hope for Russell's sake that he gets it, but history would suggest it's unlikely. It's unlikely, yeah.
Okay, let's talk to Russell Ingall and get his take on his brand new endurance driver to Bathurst, Christian Klein.
Look, it's a risk with anyone going up there the first time. Christian comes from a great pedigree of, a lot of sports car racing, of course Formula 1 as well, and he still has an involvement with Williams Formula 1 as he tests their simulator for him as well in UK. So, I mean, he's no deal. He knows how to drive a car. He still does a lot of sports car endurance type racing at the moment as well. So, like I said, it's left field, but it isn't. I still think it's pretty safe. Every time he's tested the car, he hasn't put it off the road. His feedback is very good, and he's very sensible. And a lot of those European drivers are, and that's what you need at Bathurst. You need someone that's sensible, not someone that's got an ego and trying to go out there to make a name for themselves. They're the ones that usually end up in the wall. So he's already done that. He's got a name for himself. He's out there to do a good job. So I think all in all, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Russell Ingall there. I want to get the boys' take on all 3 cars, but first let's get the Speedcafe Crimsafe rating on HRT and the Walkinshaw camp. Here is Dick Johnson.
Now we're getting to the pointy end, so Speedcafe reckon that Walkinshaw Racing is like a 7.5. Now, they're a team that has been around a long time. They won there last year. They've done a magnificent job in the past at Bathurst. they've had a pretty average season, but if they got the reliability, you know, they'll go very well indeed.
There was Dick Johnson with Speedcafe's Crimsafe rating, 7.5 out of 10 for the Walkinshaw camp. Let's go through car by car if we can. Garth Tander and Nick Percat. I mean, all the hype is on Vodafone and FPR. Can they go back and go back to back?
I reckon they can.
Yeah, I do.
I think they weren't lucky as such, but Nick made a few mistakes last year, got away with it. He's a year down the road with his experience now. I think those mistakes will be eliminated. He's got the speed. Garth's got the speed. I think they're a genuine contender, top 3 any day of the week.
JB, the 22. James Courtney always seems to go pretty well at Mount Panorama. He's never actually won there. He's got a fantastic co-driver in Cameron McConville. You have to make them a serious contender. I
would rate them just slightly lower than Garth and Nick Percat. That particular track, I mean, James has had a horror 2 years. He obviously, you know, he'd be soul-searching about it all. But just the same, he's a professional and he's very talented. So Bathurst is a totally different operation. The way you set the car up is different to everywhere else. So he'll go well, and Cam's, you know, Cam's Cam. He does a great job. He's a professional driver, and he'll hold it all together, which the co-driver needs to do.
And Jack's had his say on Russell Ingall and Christian Klein. With a rookie, do you just think Ingall maybe isn't even a factor come Mount Panorama?
Well, he'll be a factor in qualifying. He started to qualify well after, you know, 20 years. I don't know how he did that, but anyway, he did, and he'll be a factor. But, you know, I just don't think these cars are very difficult to drive at Mount Panorama in particular, and he just won't have the experience. If he does really well as a rookie, no, I won't say what I'll do, but it's controversial.
You sure you don't want to go with it?
No.
Rightio. Thank you, gents. We're getting to the pointy end of the grid now.
I regret it. For sure, if I say it, I'll regret it.
Stay tuned, everyone, to speedcafe.com. The Crimsafe V8 Supercar Endurance Countdown will continue tomorrow, and it's Ford Performance Racing on the cards tomorrow, so tune in then. You can win a very rare piece of V8 Supercar memorabilia. Collect Dick Johnson's Speedcafe Crimsafe ratings, and you can use those ratings to enter the draw to win a brand new 18-inch V8 Supercar control wheel signed by Craig Lowndes. Make sure you keep logging on to speedcafe.com for more details on how you can win.
Watch me race, Grandpa.
Protecting the things you love is really important. That's why when it comes to security screens, ask for the real Crimsafe. Look out for the rock. If it's not Crimsafe,
It's not Crimsafe.